Not the TV guide.
Not the TV guide.
Not the TV guide.
Amanda,
Andy,
what are we doing today?
we're doing Not the TV guide. And
Grant.
I believe it's episode 12.
Grant, is that correct? Do you reckon it is episode 12?
I
Not
don't know.
counting
Wasn't
the
there?
specials.
Wasn't there 45 supernatural episodes before that?
We don't count those.
Beth, is that correct? Did we do 45 different supernatural episodes?
It felt like it.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, people are wondering, obviously, Andy and of course, yeah, and it was like when we did supernatural specials with Beth now, how much did we have planned? Do you reckon originally looking back at it now?
We carved out 2 hours, but looking back, that was never going to happen, was it?
No.
No, no. In reality, was Beth? How long did we go on for with that? Then it was about 5 hours, wasn't it in total?
Yeah, I think it was. I think it was about because it was it 7 parts we did in the end, or
Five,
six,
I
five
believe
or
it was
six? I
five.
don't know.
Yeah, yeah. No, it just seemed like it was one of those things where good tip, people. If you're ever going to review a full TV program, don't make if you've got 15 seasons, don't decide to try and do it all in 2 hours. It just ain't going to happen, right? And if we had Grant with us, it would have been probably going on for 6 months, I suspect. He's that big a fan of Supernatural, aren't you, Grant?
Yeah.
So, obviously, guys, yeah, it's the first proper episode in the new year. We've all missed you. So, now, to start with today, now we're going to do something quite serious, which is very rare for me, particularly, and also the guys. Amanda.
Yeah, we're filming, well, we're recording this, sorry, on the 27th. And last night, there was a news that was all over social media that Michelle Trachtenberg died, who was better known as Dawn from Buffy. And she was also in Gossip Girl. So I just wanted to say a little bit about her because Buffy was like a big part of my life for quite a few years before Supernatural came along. And she was she was a really good actress. And I think the character got a lot of stick because nobody liked the character. But I think that was just a really good thing about how good an actress she was that she could pull it off. Because then she went into Gossip Girl and she was completely different in that.
Yeah, agreed. 39 is up for today's
Yeah.
standards. It's no age. It's just.
Yeah.
Was it a room? Did you say, Amanda, it was a room that she had some. It was a kidney operation she had fairly recently, was it?
Yeah, it's unconfirmed, but apparently she had a liver transplant several months ago. So it could be confirmed. It could be linked to that, but it's not been confirmed whether it is or not. But there was pictures flying around for months before as well, and she looked really ill. So there was something wrong.
I'm sorry to hear that as a family as well. So I think tonight, this episode, or parts of this episode tonight, because we're going to go on for 2 or 3 as normal, folks. This is dedicated to her memory. Now, obviously, on something a bit lighter now, in the news, I think it was the week before last, was some Doctor Who news going around, wasn't there? About all kinds of problems flying around Beth. So, do you want to tell us about that? Because obviously, you're our resident Doctor Who expert.
Yeah, so there's rumors flying that Shooty Gatwa uh could be axed was the word that some articles were using from the show. Other articles were framing it more as he's leaving the show and that he's not going to be returning for series 3 even before series 2 had even aired. But it was all speculation, and I believe that today there's been more news out saying that no, he's not going to be leaving, but the sort of general message that seems to be coming through is actually that it's less about Ncuti Gatwa and more about the kind of future of the show in general, because there's quite a lot of sources that seem to be saying that obviously we know that viewing figures and ratings of the show are dropping. The audience has halved apparently, which is quite a big decline. So there's basically been speculation as to whether the show itself could be axed, especially once the deal with Disney comes to an end. Because obviously Disney's been providing a lot of the money. They've still got, I think they've only done half of the episodes that they'd signed the deal with Disney for. So that seems to suggest that there will probably be a third series because they've still got a fair few episodes with Disney to go, I think, as part of the deal. But there's been a lot of speculation as to the show's future. The BBC have said that there's no plans to axe it for now until after, the next series airs, and they get the kind of reaction from that, which is understandable. But yeah, it's a shame really, because I think we've kind of over the last few years, well, ever since Jodie Whittaker's era, really, I feel like we've kind of been witnessing this sort of like slow decline of Doctor
Yeah.
Who, really. I don't know, it could just be me, but kind of feel like it's been on a bit of a downward trajectory, which is a shame.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Bring
Grant,
the
what do you
Daleks
think?
back.
No, you want space babies, don't you, Grant?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, we know
Surely the
that.
ratings for them. Surely Disney were happy with the Space Babies. Surely, the greatest television episode of last year.
I'm not even going to go down that. Amanda, what do you want to add to that? Anything?
Yeah, I'll watch the Space Babies.
Yeah.
Blimey. Oh, blimey, here we go again. The reason why Doctor Who was taken off the air because the return of the space babies, right?
No,
So,
it was because there wasn't enough Space Babies.
oh,
No, I'm
dear.
still looking forward to the new series. I do want some Daleks back. It's been too long.
I don't think they're going to come back this series, don't you? I get the impression
Well,
it
then it
might.
deserves to be cancelled.
Well, it might be the third or fourth season if we get one. So, right, the other bit of news that broke last night was, and I'm going to ask Grant about this, was we had a video come up last night. Grant tagged me into when Jensen Eccles was going about Gerard.
Oh yes.
Then it went to Misha. Grant, what do you think to that then? And have you managed to do your in-depth journalistic research yet? Tell us who Misha Collins
No, I
is.
had no
That's joining
idea.
the boys.
It said, boys, as series 5 is getting a bit supernatural, and I was like, okay, there's nothing spooky going on. I watched for the video one, and then I was like, I don't recognize Soldier Boy, and then I was like, who's this guy? I don't know who he is at all. So, but I knew it was important, so I had to tag you in it, and then I know it made other people in his group very happy. So.
Well, I got very disappointed because I thought it was saying that there was going to be a Supernatural Series 16 for a minute. You gave me false hope.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
Told off Grant completely so with that one. So before I ask Amanda, Beth, how did you feel when you saw that going around then? Did you really think yourself, oh my God, what's going on here? Because I know we did.
It was just for a couple of seconds I thought they were going to announce that Supernatural 16 Series 16 was happening, because they have been talking about it for a while, but obviously it was just for Series 5 of The Boys. But it did kind of make me excited to watch The Boys though, because it's been on my list for a while. Like I do want to watch it. I feel like
it's a great show, really good.
Yeah, do you feel like it will be a good Supernatural replacement? And yeah, it's
not quite that Supernatural. The best way to put it would be is Jensen Ackles, and he comes in. There was a season 3, was it, Grant? He was in a Soldier
Yeah, it
Boy.
was. Yeah, Soldier Boy. Yeah.
Oh, he's astonishing in that. It's his best post-Supernatural performance. It really, really is, because his characters are completely different. So, Amanda, what have you got to add about that?
Yeah, you showed me the video, and I know they're famous for joking around, so I didn't think anything until the end when it said The Boys. Up till then, I was just thinking, oh, what's going on here? And then I thought, they better not be joking, they can't be joking. No, don't do that to me.
I thought for a couple of seconds when it came up, we had Mish saying, what we doing again? What we doing again? I thought to myself for a minute, is this legit? Because you feel sometimes, you know what I mean? You think about it. There's so many fakes knocking around on the internet, isn't there? So I quickly went and bunged it up on Google. And the first thing I saw was a Holiday Reporter. I thought, yeah, this must be legit then. And I've had it. 2 people I know that are friends of mine are Supernatural both sent me the clip over my WhatsApp this morning. So it's obviously like going viral already. So, but yeah, it could be very interesting. Now, Amanda, you're you're old school. We'll call you old school Supernatural fan. Do you want to tell Beth then, and for Grant, because Grant won't know this, how many Supernatural actors and actresses that you can think of have been in The Boys and the spin-off?
Yeah. Well, I went through them today, and there were a few small-time ones I had to look up, so I didn't put them on the list. So obviously there's Jensen, and now there's going to be Jared and Misha. And then there's also Jeffrey Dean Morgan, who played Joe Kessler. Jim
Okay.
Beaver, strangely enough, plays Robert A. Singer. And Rob Benedict was Splinter. And there was that very weird scene that I can never get out of my mind. I'm not going to
Yeah.
ruin for Beth.
We won't
Oh
tell
And
yeah, I
Beth.
remember that one. Yeah, that's
Don't tell
horrible.
Beth because
also,
Beth, when
yeah,
you watch that,
Yeah, I remember that one.
you'll
Yeah,
need a sick bucket, right?
Oh God.
yeah, that was really grim. That one, I remember that.
in,
Yeah,
in Gen V as well was Alexander Calvert as
Yeah, you
Rufus.
need a sick bucket for that as well. First time
Yeah.
he was
Yeah,
in
no,
that.
it's a proper supernatural reunion by the sounds of it.
Yeah. I'm expecting something really horrible in this to happen to either Misha, and main thing's telling me that, obviously. Go on, Amanda, what do you reckon?
Yeah, well, Eric Kripke can get away with doing a lot more than he could in Supernatural.
Yeah, you
He
told me.
can, I think you've proved you can do anything in boys now. So.
Do you want to tell Grant and Beth what you told me before about Jensen? This was
Yeah,
season 3, wasn't it?
I don't know what scenes he's referring to because we couldn't remember what was so bad, but apparently he asked Jensen, like, what are the scenes that you wouldn't be prepared to do? And Jensen says, well, I'd be prepared to do this, that, and whatever, but I wouldn't go as far as this. So then he immediately wrote the stuff into the script that he said he wouldn't do.
I have heard they had that kind of relationship though. Apparently, like on Supernatural, apparently he would do things like that as well. He'd kind of like Jensen would say like, "Oh, I just really don't want to do that. Don't make me do that," and then he'd like write it in immediately.
brilliant.
Yeah. See, that's why. So that's what people we've got to look forward to probably next year and that. But like I said, Beth, you're not bad because with the boys, what is it? 10 episodes per season, am I right, guys? Or was it 8? I've forgotten now. No, 6. I'm sure it's 6. Not many. It's not many, Beth, anyway, with the boys.
Mm.
So like but when you've got a sick bucket to hand, you might be able to binge watch that quite well.
Yeah, there's
Well,
some
is it
shocking
that
scenes.
graphic? I'm intrigued now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I remember
There's
at
some
first
things
few
you never
episodes.
respect.
Yeah.
I remember at the end just like being open mouthed and like, oh my God, I can't believe what
Yeah.
just happened.
Yeah, that was the first episode. Well, no, it was Gen V. Gen V had a scene in the first 2 minutes that we were sat in the cinema when watching it, and I was in 3 ones. And what one
Oh
character
yeah.
did to her father, I was sat there and said to Mando, I've just seen this in graphic detail in the cinema.
Oh yeah, God, yeah, I remember that.
See, that's what you got to look forward to, Beth. Okay, so
Wow.
when you've binge watched it, let us all know, and we'll go and do a rewatch episode with you, and I'll have to get some notes
Yes.
together. And Grant, you're in that one, if you like
Okay.
it or not, right?
I know, I'm happy to do that one. I enjoy it.
So good to me then. Right, guys, go. Yeah, well, we've waffled on for nearly 20 minutes already here. So, right, let's get onto the program that we've all been watching recently. And today we're going to start off with probably the only program this month that more than 2 of us have watched. And that is The Apprentice. And I can't believe this, Grant. It's season bloody 19.
I know, yeah. So yeah, they had a break obviously with COVID.
Mm.
Remember there was like 2 series. I think 2 years we lost the Apprentice, but
Yeah.
yeah. So and they're doing another series next year, so it'll be 20.
Yeah.
It's going for 20 years, so it's over 20 years now. It's
Now,
crazy.
I have to ask you, Grant, when did you first start watching it?
The very first episode, yeah. I
Oh,
watched
did
it
you?
in there.
Oh my good
Yeah,
God.
I did.
Wow. Wow.
I was obsessed with it from day one. I
It's
was
about
like, yeah.
it's about that for me actually. And although it might be in the second season and my brother was into it, was into it at that stage. Beth, obviously you're a little bit younger than us 2 old fogies here. When did you first start watching The Apprentice?
Probably when I was about like 16, 17.
Yeah.
So
Only
that would have
about a
been
year or 2 ago then, basically, wasn't it? So yeah.
near a decade. I wish it wasn't, but it's a decade since I was
Oh wow.
16. So
Well,
yeah, no.
you still look a
Um,
baby compared to me, us 3. Also, this old fogey and Grant anyway, right?
Was it
yeah, I remember
helping your business studies GCSE?
I used to watch it with my parents, and then
Oh
and then I remember like the house being obsessed with it when I started at
yeah.
university. So we all watched it at uni, like during first and second year. We were all obsessed with it. So yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Now, I've got a quick note, obviously, what The Apprentice is for people who've never watched it, and then we'll talk about the current season. The Apprentice is a British business-styled reality program created by Mark Burnett, distributed by Fremantle and broadcast by the BBC since 16th of February 2005. And it was devised after the success of the American original and part of the international franchise of the same name. The program focuses on a group of business people competing in a series of business-related challenges set by British business mogul Alan Sugar in order to
Yeah.
prove themselves worthy of the prize offered by him. I'm going to let you two decide. Who wants to start off with about this program?
I'll start. I'm start. I hope it never gets taken off the TV. I hope Sugar does it for another 70 years if he can do, even if he's in a cryogenic chamber. It's my favorite reality TV show. I love it so much. And I don't know where they get these cut, because the thing is, the format's pretty much the same, isn't it? This, you're kind of just laughing at very arrogant business people fail at very simple business tasks, but you still get people applying to be on it, which I find amazing. And they don't seem to have like learned any lessons from the previous series.
Oh,
So
it's
and it's
incredible.
just it's incredible, isn't it? I don't know where they find these people from, but I love them.
Oh, like I said,
And it makes such great TV.
all I'm going to say to everybody is, you're Leo, Leo.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it was some Amanda missed this. I need to get Amanda to watch his first episode of me when they
Yeah.
were doing yodeling. Oh,
Yeah.
it was appalling to her.
Yeah.
I was saying that actually, the best episode far was that AI music one. Oh, the
Oh, I
virtual pop
love that one.
star. Oh,
Oh
Beth,
yeah.
Beth, I'll let you talk about that then. Go on then, because that was incredible. That
Yeah.
was.
No, it was great. I do like that about The Apprentice. They always like pick some really interesting tasks. Like I never thought I'd see Alan Sugar as a like AI pop
Yeah.
star, but we have witnessed this thanks
Yeah.
to The Apprentice. So, but no, I know what you mean though, because it is just one of those shows where you're like, where are they finding these people? Like,
Yeah.
where are they
Yeah.
finding them? Like, it's honestly, it just shows that. I mean, obviously they are intelligent, and obviously there are
Yeah.
some very good business people amongst them,
Yeah.
but you do just kind of think like when you get to the end, and sometimes like their business plans, they've
Oh
got the
yes.
whole way. They've got the whole way through the application process. They've got on the show. They've got the whole way through the show, and then they get to like the final kind of episodes, and it turns out that their like business plan is awful and just gets like torn to shreds. So it just kind of shows you that it is more about personality and kind of
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
who you know in business, because it really annoys me in some ways, this show, because I'm kind of looking at them, and on some of the tasks I'm genuinely like, I don't know anything about business. I've never worked in
Yeah.
business. I've never learned anything about business. I've not got a business studies degree. And I swear I could do a better job on a lot of these
Yeah.
tasks than some of them do. And it really annoys me because like I would
Yeah.
never go on that show in a million years, because I just
No,
know that
so
I know that I'm like not the sort of personality to do it. So it is just about being I do think it's a little bit about being too big for your boots, and
yeah.
being like just overly confident in your abilities,
Mm.
because it's like I wouldn't go on it because I wouldn't have that much like bloody self-belief. It's like
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
they've got just an overblown sense of their own importance, most of them.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's, I think, when you watch programs like this sometimes, I say it's cruelty in some ways. You just want to see these people getting taken down to size by Alan Sugar, really. But like,
Yeah, I
you
love
can
it.
say the same thing with something like, can't you, X Factor or whatever, can't you?
Mm.
Or
Mm.
Britain's Got Talent. You want to see people get ridiculed, but I think this is more different because those are more like normal people getting ripped to pieces.
Yeah.
This one here, these are all just. I'm gonna. I'll drop the first F bomb of the day, right? Fucking twat to you as well as you get completely knocked down the size. That's why. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's brilliant. It is. Oh god. Now I'm gonna have to ask you both. What's been your favourite scene so far in it? And Beth, we'll start with you.
Oh, I know it's cruel, but I think it's got to be. Was it Nadia getting fired?
I'm sorry, that
Oh
was
yeah,
mine. That was mine. That was mine actually as well.
the
That was yeah,
fastest ever
Oh,
firing. That was amazing. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, love that. Yeah.
I felt cruel, but there was just a part of me that was like, just oh, get your backside out that door. Like, it was so satisfying. It was just like nobody has ever deserved to be fired more. Like, she just didn't listen to anything the rest of the team were saying, and like every single decision that she made was just a ridiculous decision. She just single-handedly like nosedived the task, and it was just like it was just
they spent
incredibly
£500 on
satisfying.
sausages, didn't they?
Yeah.
And then the other team had spent about like £1 on the pizza, didn't they? It's great.
Absolutely insane. That's what you do with stuff like that. It's just absolutely incredible sometimes it is. So, Grant, what's been your favourite scene so far? And I have to ask you, mate.
I'll go with you, Beth. I love the fastest firing, but also I love the Lord Sugar doing Shakespeare in the boardroom. That was amazing. I quite like that.
Oh yeah,
when they went to Stanford. It was such a highbrow moment from Sugar, and I loved the Merchant of Tennis gag. That was amazing. Actually, you know about the former tennis player, and also I've loved that guy, that tennis player, and that relationship with Carlos, the feisty Italian guy. I loved him. He was absolutely useless, but he just thought he was like the serious contender. Like, they all see me as a threat. So that's why they want to get rid of me. And then, he was just, and he didn't listen to anything anyone said. He was brilliant. So I was gutted when they got rid of him, but but I love the Merchant of Tennis gag. That was great.
No, great. Was there anything that really made you cringe so far then, apart from the yodeling, right?
When they sort of like, are just unbelievably rude to some of like the people that they're negotiating with, like some of the like suppliers that they're like buying things off. I remember there was this one time when they're trying to like negotiate the price down, and one of them just butts in and goes, well, actually the retail price is actually £35, and then the person that they were trying to buy from was like, all right then, £35. Like, how rude can you get when you're already trying to buy something off somebody, and you know that they're not going to be making a profit if they sell it to you for less than that, and you're already getting an amazing deal, and then you just like, it's just insulting, honestly. Like,
I wonder sometimes whether it's set up to a degree that it does feel like it to me, but I do agree with you on that completely. So, right, anyway, well, obviously, but we're conscious of the time here because I want to get onto something for Amanda to bring Amanda into the podcast in the next program. So, what we're all going to give us out of 10 so far?
10.
Beth?
I'm gonna have to say 10 for The Apprentice.
Sorry, it's been great this series. It's been the best ones I've seen for a while as well. 10, definitely, because I loved the first 2 episodes, and it was I've never seen it on the last, well, as of recording last week's episode, when you knew straight away when that what she got pulled into the boardroom, she was gone. And they made their mind up, so they got her in there. She'd gone, but I've never seen that before. So, agreed. 10's all round. Right, let's see now if Amanda can actually give us a 10. So, the first program I'm going to ask Amanda about is one she's just watched, obviously, out of fairness. Now, Bad Sisters. Now, I want to learn all about Bad Sisters, Amanda.
Okay, so it's about 5 sisters. So these are the Garvey sisters, and it's set in Ireland. And their parents died when most of them were quite young, and the oldest one sort of raised them the rest of the way. And one of them is married to a complete arsehole, and he's trying to distance her from her sisters to sort of isolate her so that all she'll have is him. And they decide that they're going to kill him. So the first season is just sort of flashbacks and present day things. So you see that he's dead, and then in the flashbacks, you see all these attempts to kill him when they keep going wrong. But obviously, at some point, one of the attempts is going to go right because he's dead and they have his funeral in the present day. So you have to keep watching to try and find out how he dies and which sister kills him.
I'm going to ask you this, Grant. Does this sound like a very Amanda sort of series?
It involves murder.
You've not quite got used to Amanda's taste yet, Beth, but I think you'll be working out for the next couple of episodes. She likes series about men that get killed, usually quite graphically as well.
Only the bad ones.
So, Okay, Amanda, seriously. Now, wasn't this based on a book, if my memory's correct? Am I imagining things?
It might be, but I haven't read it, so I can't tell you anything about it.
Okay, well, give us what's the strength of the series been like so far then?
It got a bit silly in places, like at one point when one of the murder attempts goes wrong, and I saw straight away what was going to happen and how it was going to go wrong, but they were really shocked about it. But I think you just got to sort of watch it and not really think, about what would happen in the real world.
Yes.
So, in other words, suspend disbelief you're telling people, and basically,
Yeah.
aren't you? So, yeah, that I can believe definitely with that one. So, what didn't you like about the series?
Not so much what I didn't like. I just really couldn't wait until the guy got killed because I just really hated him,
Hell.
but they set it up that way. And it's like the actor's probably really nice.
Oh my God, yeah. Anyway,
I think they're doing a second series, aren't they, Amanda? It's starting the second
Yeah,
series now.
I don't know what's going to happen in the second season. I don't see where it could go, but I'll find out.
Hopefully more murder.
lots more
Yay!
murders in the building, yeah. So definitely that one. Is this the sort of program you would watch, Beth?
I mean, it certainly sounds interesting. I feel like I normally go for kind of slightly more light-hearted things, I think. Like I tend to like things which have that kind of like vein of darkness, but then they've also got kind of like a bit of a comedic vein as well. So I think like Supernatural was a perfect combination for me. But I could certainly give it a go.
Amanda, would you recommend Grant watches it as well?
Oh yeah, you should definitely watch it. You'll love it. He doesn't look convinced.
No, no, it's on my list of things to watch. Actually, yeah, I'll give it a go. Yeah,
Oh, blimey. I thought you'd been to I was taking a Mickey then as well. Grant looks like Grant's
no,
half
I've
is
heard good
serious.
things. Yeah, yeah.
Right, Amanda, is there anything else you want to add about this series then?
No, I think that covers it.
Sounds good to me. What are you going to give this out of 10?
I'm going to give it 8.5.
Ooh, another
Nice.
recommendation. We are doing well here today with that straight away. So, okay, right. Ooh, who should I pick on next then? I think we should go back to Grant. Okay.
Okie
Now
dokie.
we've had a nice TV program. This is where I can get really horrible to Grant now.
Oh, okay. You're
Did you?
gonna
What do you think I'm going to ask
you're
you
gonna
about
flag off my
Grant?
favorite superhero. That isn't Craven. And
Amanda, should we slag it off or should we be kind?
I don't feel very kind.
No, we're not.
oh, what
No,
about your
Beth,
friendly neighborhood Spider-Man?
You should have watched it. So I'm
No.
going to be very intrigued to know your reaction if you get to watch this some point. Believe me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, we're going to talk about your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Now, I have to be honest here before we start with this. Me and Amanda tried to watch it because Grant was adamant he was going to watch it. And how long did we last, Amanda?
About 10 minutes, but it felt like about 10 years.
That's good.
Right. I do have some notes on this. I'll dig the notes up, and I will be fair. I
And
will
you,
be. One
how
second.
many notes have you got? Have you got a page per minute? You watch?
Pretty well. Right. Paragraph per minute. Right.
Okay,
That
I want to hear everything, and I'm going to defend it. So
no,
I'm the
I'm
case
just
for
gonna.
the defense.
I've nicked this off as another website, so I'm gonna read out what the website
Okay.
says. Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man is an American animated television series created by Jeff Trammell for the streaming Disney platform, based on the Marvel comic character Spider-Man. Would you believe this? It is the 12th television series in the Marvel Cinematic Universe from
Ooh.
Marvel Studios and produced by Marvel Studios Animation. And it explores Peter Parker's origin story in early days as Spider-Man and is set in an alternative timeline for the main films, and it shows a television series where Norman Osborn becomes Peter's mentor instead of Tony Stark.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Oh, God. Amanda, before I rip this to pieces, what do you want to add apart from the swearing?
That's nothing then.
Oh, come
No,
on, it weren't that bad. I
no.
really like it.
Well, okay. I'm gonna be objective. Okay. I really like the Doctor
Okay.
Strange cameo at the beginning of it, even though
Oh yeah, that was cool.
that made Amanda swear. Why did that
Did
make
it?
Amanda swear?
I don't know.
But
I
Benedict
think I was in a
Cumberbatch
coma
wasn't
by
in it.
then.
That's why, right?
Yeah.
Honestly, Beth doesn't know this yet, but Benedict Cumberbatch is one of Amanda's men, right?
Oh, okay.
I wish.
And yeah, it just, I'll be honest, what put me right off, will be honest, was the theme tune. It started off Spider-Man, Spider. I love the old
Yeah.
original Spider-Man tune. Then I'm swearing again now. Where the effing hell they came up with that bloody rap interlude in the middle of it?
Oh no,
Oh, I
it's
love
all
it. I
coming
think it's
back now.
amazing. I think it's a great theme tune. I've had it on my Spotify playlist recently. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, dear.
There's nothing better than when you're on the bus and you're just rapping to yourself
oh,
to
dear, dear.
Spider-Man, the theme.
Can
Uh,
we kick Grant off the podcast now?
I'm going to mute him in a
It's
minute.
not it's not the same person that I thought we knew.
Um, I the problem I had with this grant was I know it's alternative universe, and you could defend this and
Yeah.
explain this to me. Seriously, it was. I didn't like and it's what lost me really was when they had him as some kind of popular nerd at school, making friends with a
Oh yeah.
star football player, and to
Oh
me
yeah.
that is against everything I've seen with Peter Parker done before. So
Yeah.
he made him look like the most popular kid in school, and he was always. I felt the character worked better as an outsider. That
Yeah.
was my problem with it,
He's still
really.
unpopular, really. He's only got that friend Nico, and then yeah, he didn't get the girl she was interested in. The Tombstone character, wasn't he? Lonnie Lincoln. Yeah. So yeah. So I don't think he's still. He's basically a bit like they made based on Tom Holland's character, representation of him. So it's quite MCU centric, but then yeah, he's still quite nerdy and stuff like that. I don't think he's popular or anything really, but yeah. I
The
disagree.
graphics are an interesting choice because they're quite Steve Deco-ish, aren't they? So it's
Yeah,
like
they
a
are. I like the
mashup.
animated
Yeah,
style of it. Yeah,
they've took me to getting used to the look of it, watch it, but I can see what they're aiming for with that. It's a mashup
yeah.
in the classic of the
Mhm.
60s nowadays. So that was interesting, that was. Now, how did you think about what they did with moving it on to as Norman Osborn as his mentor?
Yeah, I quite like it. Yeah, I think it's different. It's basically because you don't really. Well, I'm not finished it yet. I've got 3 episodes left, so they're hinting that he's got evil plans, behind it. So yeah, so but yeah, so because he's basically got the Tony Stark role, internship, but he's working for Norton Osborn's third Iron Man. But also, as the story progresses, you get the Civil War. The Soviet Accords. They deal with that. So Captain America's on the run now in this world. So this does similar events to what happened in normal MCU, but it's gone into another different direction really. So, but the cool thing is, it's got instead of like the Vulture, the Vulture in Spider-Man: Homecoming, you've got Doctor Octopus instead. He's making weapons for people. So yeah, so it's got like kind of that. So it's and the Doctor Octopus is based on like the '60s Steve Ditko design. He's got like the bowl haircut and the green suit and stuff like that. It's really cool. So yeah, um, yeah. So I think it's been and then they've got the Peter Parker in. They've got the current storyline of like Lonnie going to the dark side. He's getting into like gang warfare and stuff. So it's got a bit of like I don't know, it's trying to be social realism a bit, like the story about like the underground Harlem and stuff like that. It's been tempted by the criminal gangs and stuff like that. While he's trying to be Peter, he's trying to be Spider-Man, but Norman Osborn's trying to kind of take his steer in his direction. So I think it's been really interesting and good. It's been good to see like the classic villains that popped up and they're all classic designs and stuff. But yeah, so that's been quite cool. So yeah, I think I've been really enjoyed it, but. I think you should give it a
As
go because Daredevil appears at one point, which is quite. It's voiced by Charlie Cox as well, which is quite cool.
Yeah, I spotted that, and what I really wanted to watch that, and unfortunately, it lost me. So, but Beth, is there anything you want to ask Grant about this series?
So yeah, so it's like a kind of what if type thing, is
Yeah,
it?
it is.
Oh,
Yeah,
Is
we
it
won't
based
talk about
on
What If season 3.
that is generally awful. That's reason to. It's basically like
Shocking.
a good version of what if basically they took a
Okay.
premise, but then it's actually thought out when it's quite good. It's
Okay.
not.
It's based on the based on like the MCU Spider-Man. Right. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, so you watch it and you feel like yeah, it's got like elements of the MCU Spider-Man in it. Like Aunt May is very much based on Marissa Tomei, so you got that kind of She's got a bit younger Aunt May than before, but then he goes to the same high school and stuff, but doesn't have like Ned or anything like that. So he has this girl called Nico, who's basically just there's a lot of like gender swaps as well. There's like Kurt Connors is a woman now, as I think he's called um, Curtis. I can't remember her name. Can't remember her name. Carolina Collins. I can't remember her name, but yeah, she's like and then Harry Osborn, instead of being a bit of a nerd, like in the comic books, he's actually like a social media influencer. So he's really rich and all that. He's quite confident and outgoing. So that I thought that was quite cool, a bit different. So
Cool.
so yeah, it's familiar, a bit of a twist. I think that's what makes it quite interesting.
Cool. Is there anything you didn't really like about this Grant to wrap up with?
No, I was surprised. I didn't have much expectations for it because I just watched What If, and I was like, I don't want to ever watch any Marvel animation ever again by Marvel Studios. But this was like, I don't want to see Howard the Duck having a baby. Like I was like, going on.
I'm glad to say we skipped that. Amanda had given up after 2 episodes of What If.
Yeah, oh, so you're lucky.
I think I went to the last 2 and I sat there thinking, oh, that's way too meta. But listen. We're on Spider-Man, not What If. People wonder what If. I give it, I think, a 4 out of 5, 4 out of 10. I like 2 episodes. I think Amanda to give it 0, and I'm guessing Grant to give you probably 0 as well, right?
2.5. Yeah, probably pretty bad.
But anyway, on Spider-Man, Grant. Sorry, go on, mate.
Yeah, so I really enjoyed it because one of my favourite animated cartoon series of all time is the original Spider-Man from '94. I used to love that as a kid. So, and I watched them all again when I had Disney Plus for the first time. So I've always loved that, and it's up there with the Batman animated series. My favorite, kids TV show growing up with. So small comic book related one. So I didn't think I'd be any good at that. It's not, but it's still very enjoyable and well made, and it's good. And I feel like and I love the theme song, so I can't wait to whenever I put an episode on. I love it when the Spider-Man comes on, and then the hip hop beat drops. Yeah.
The good thing is, Grant Manhattan, I read an article with the showrunner this morning. And he's turned around and said they're already well into doing season 2 as well, and that will be out at the end of the year.
Oh yeah, that'd be good. Yeah.
It looks like they've got it well planned out. That was a fair play to them. So said it's like, so what mark are you going to give us out of 10, Grant?
Oh, I'll give it 8 out of 10. I'm enjoying it. So yeah.
I can't mark it. Amanda, if I ask Amanda, I know what Amanda's going to say. What are you going to say, Amanda?
Put my thumbs down.
Oh,
so right, okay. Wrap up episode part A. We're gonna let Beth talk about one of her solo programs as well, because if we go into Sweet Tooth, which I know Beth's also watched season 3, all of us have watched that, so we could go on a while with that. But okay, Beth, tell us about Uncanny, because it's not one I've heard of before this. So you can tell me all about it, because I suspect I'd probably enjoy this, and I think Amanda would as well.
Yeah, it's really good. I mean, it's not everyone's cup of tea. It's basically one of those kind of, ghost investigation programs, like those ones that you get on like daytime TV, Britain's Most Haunted, Ghost Adventures, those kind of things. But I think it's way better than those, because those ones tend to be that they go to a supposedly haunted location and they kind of wait there for something to happen, and then there's a bump, and they all go, "What was that? There was a bump." And then it's like, well, I didn't hear it because I'm on the other side of a screen. I can't be sure what that was. I just have to take your word for it. So it's not, most of the time those programs I think are a little bit kind of staged and a bit sort of like, cheesy, but this one I really like because it's essentially the format is they just get someone to to come to them with a paranormal experience that they've had, and it's basically just people saying, this happened to me, I can't explain it, I'd like to think that there is an explanation for it, what can you tell me? And they come to them with these cases, and then they've got Team Believer and Team Skeptic. So Team Believer kind of investigates the history of the property or wherever it is and kind of looks at the sort of historical links and if there's anything there that could explain why it's haunted or whatever. And then Team Skeptic kind of looks into like possible scientific explanations and, you know, whether there could be a more rational explanation for what they've seen or what they've heard or whatever. And it's kind of left open-ended and it's sort of up to you to decide. And I think it's quite good because it's one of those shows like don't watch it before bed because it is terrifying. Some of the stories that people bring in, it's just like, you know,
no.
how do you explain that? You know, I don't believe in, like, I don't really believe in the supernatural. I don't believe in ghosts in the traditional, you know, white sheet woo sense, but it's kind of like you just sort of listen to what these people have experienced, and they've got, you know, eyewitness testimony from like several people that have experienced it or whatever. So it's not just one person that's claiming to have seen this. They get several witnesses to come forward and say, yeah, I was there too, we all heard it, kind of thing. And it's just one of those things where you're like, well, I don't really believe it, but at the same time, how do you explain that? How do you explain it? And it's really fascinating because they look into like the history as well, and it's really good.
Oh.
I'm going to ask Amanda this now. Amanda, is this the sort of program you'd want to watch?
Maybe, but like I've watched quite a lot of them, and it always feels a bit fake to me.
Yeah, that's what I think is. I think you're right. I think it's one of those I could certainly see with it is you wonder sometimes how they get or how everything's done really behind with that. So to be honest with you, Beth, I'm going to give it a go actually. I will be. I'm very, very tempted to give it a go, certainly. So if I give it a go, I'll see if I can talk Amanda into it.
Yeah.
Wish me luck. Grant, is it too scary for you?
Oh, yeah, way too scary. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm averse to anything supernatural, so I can't watch it.
No,
What
obviously.
about Casper the Friendly Ghost?
Oh, I love Casper. Yeah.
Casper the Friendly Ghost. Good grief.
Yeah, you have to
Now,
be friendly. Yeah.
I've got to ask Beth, what's been your favourite bits in season 2? Did you say was it?
Yeah, it's pretty short seasons as well. It's only like 3 or 4 episodes a season. It's also a podcast. It started as a podcast on BBC Sounds, and it got turned into a series last year. So I think the first series was last year, and the second series has just aired. But yeah, it's I think my favorite, well, not my favorite moment because it feels a bit strange to call it that, but the kind of the creepiest moment that really kind of like set the hairs on the back of your neck on end was this guy that it was like the case of this guy who he lost both his mother and his father at quite a young age. So his dad died when he was 7 and his mum died when he was like 23, and obviously he's inherited the house and he's not got anywhere else to go. And then it's just this like strange like black figure that he keeps seeing around the neighborhood that other people also have seen, and then it basically just starts kind of terrorizing him essentially. And it's, you know, speaking to him, you know, you don't want to believe it, but they interview him and you're like looking at him and you're like, I don't think anyone could make this up. Do you know what I mean? He's clearly absolutely terrified out of his wits, this poor guy. And it was like there were several other witnesses who came forward and said like, yeah, I was with him on this particular night, I saw it as well. And it's like there's been other people in the neighborhood where he lived that didn't even know him that also reported seeing a similar thing around the same time. And it was absolutely terrifying, but it was a really like spooky episode. It was really good.
Oh, come on. Has there been anything you've not liked about this, Beth?
I'd like Team Skeptic to be a little bit more on it, to be honest, because like Team Believer is obviously like they've got an easier job, to be fair, because you know, they kind of just have to go like, yeah, it's a ghost. But like, you know, Team Skeptic, I think, needs to put a bit more work in, because a lot of the theories that they come up with as to what could explain it are just ridiculous. And I'm like, well, clearly that wasn't it. You know, you've got to come up with a better scientific theory here. Like, you know, it was they just come up with some really stupid explanations which clearly don't explain it. And it's like, you know, I think they could, you know, do a bit of a better job of trying to disprove it. But then also that does kind of make you wonder, you know, because some of these things, it just doesn't feel like it can be explained. And it is definitely true stories, because they get like many people that have like experienced the same thing. There's always like multiple eyewitnesses, and you know, it's like the parents have experienced it as well as the child and all of this, and they interview both of them. So it's kind of like you can't really doubt that it's like true stories. Do you know what I mean? So it's quite interesting.
Yeah, definitely that. So, Grant or Amanda, have you got anything else you want to ask Beth about this before we let her mark it?
My mind's just going back to York when we got woken up by that television.
Well, Grant's heard the story, but Beth's not, so you better tell Beth the story in that one, Amanda.
We went to York, I think, was it not last year, the year before, and York is known for being haunted anyway. We just both got woken up to the television just blurting out.
Oh.
And we were nowhere near the remote control or anything. And it was just really disorientating because I had just been asleep. And I'm like, what's going on?
Weird.
And honestly, Beth, I went and then I actually unplugged the TV in the room. And I told Amanda on the second night, if that goes off at the same time and I've unplugged it, we're going to that train station, no matter if it's midnight or 2 in the morning. So that's why.
That is creepy. That is creepy.
That was so. Anyway, that's our story. Beth, what are you going to give this out of 10?
I'm gonna give it a 9, because it did give me the heebie-jeebies a little bit, but
oh yeah,
yeah, sounds like it.
Who hosted it again? Is it what's his name of presenter? Can't remember his name now. Is it Tim something?
Oh God, I can't actually remember either. Let me think. It might be Tim something. Let me just have a look.
Because I
Danny,
not watched
it's Danny Robbins. It is.
That's it, Danny Robbins.
Oh, so I thought you were about to say Danny Dyer then for a second. I thought, oh my God, grief.
That'd be incredible.
That would make for a good show.
He'd be like, this goes to my nutty.
Right. Anyway, folks, that's it. The end of part 1 of this episode. We've covered 5 bits and pieces already. We have a few more to go yet. So we will see you all 2 shakes of the dice.
See you soon.
See you soon.
Not the TV guide.
Not the TV guide.
Not the TV guide.